Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We like to get into the nitty-gritty here, and today we're talking about something that's super important for all you administrative professionals out there.
It might seem basic at first,
Yeah.
but trust me, this is a game changer. We're diving deep into how to really master your business contacts.
And we've got a great mix of sources for this one.
Blog posts, advice from real experts, even some global perspectives.
Exactly. So we're going to pull out the best tips and insights.
Just for you?
For you. So before we get into the actual how-to stuff, let's talk about the big picture for a minute. Why does contact management even matter so much in the business world?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
Each contact, each person you know is like a seed. They hold the potential for growth.
Okay. I like
and abundance. But without the right care, those seeds just stay dormant.
So you're saying we need to go beyond just having a big list of names and numbers.
Exactly. It's about understanding how to cultivate those relationships to help them flourish.
So it's like gardening almost.
Yes. In fact, one of our sources, Wingu, uses a similar analogy.
Oh, really?
They talk about how just having a lot of data isn't enough.
Makes sense. Data's just, raw material until you do something with it.
Right. It has to be organized properly, categorized. Then it becomes valuable information.
Not just a random pile of facts. Oh, speaking of Wingu, they have that crazy story about that marketing agency.
Oh, yes. The one that lost that huge client.
Huge. All because their contacts were a mess.
A complete mess. They missed a crucial follow-up email.
Oof. Couldn't even find the right contact info.
And it costs them. Those kinds of oversights can have a real impact on your business.
For sure.
The right contact reached at the right time can open up all sorts of possibilities. Possibilities you might not even imagine.
So we need to be organized, but we also need to use that organization strategically. Like knowing how to group your contacts and tailor how you communicate with them.
Exactly. It's like tending a garden,
Right.
Understanding the needs of each plant, helping it thrive.
I am loving these gardening metaphors.
Well, it's a fitting analogy.
It is. Okay, so all this talk is making me want to completely revamp my own contact system. So let's get down to brass tacks. What are some things our listeners can start doing right now to up their contact game?
Well, first things first, you need the right tool for the job.
Our trusty spade and watering can. Sticking with the garden theme.
Exactly. One of the sources, Contactos Compartidos para Gmail, really emphasizes this. Choosing a contact management app that fits the way you work.
That makes sense. And there are a ton of options out there.
There are. From simple ones like Google Contacts to much bigger platforms like Salesforce.
So how do we even know where to start?
It really comes down to what you need and what resources you have. If you're just starting out, a basic app like Google Contacts might be perfect.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. But as you grow, as your network gets bigger and your needs change, you might want something more powerful.
Like going from a little herb garden to a full-blown farm.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got our tools. What's next?
Data collection. It's not enough anymore to just get a name and a phone number.
The ClickHard article was really big on this. They were saying we need to think broader. Social media handles, job titles, even things like birthdays if the person is comfortable sharing that.
All those details can help you personalize your interactions.
Makes sense. More data, more ways to connect. But what about keeping all that data clean?
Ah, yes. Data hygiene.
I remember 10 Mejores Practicas was really hammering that home.
And for good reason. Imagine a garden full of weeds and dead leaves. It would be a disaster. Same with your contact list. You got to keep it clean, keep it current.
Regular weeding and pruning for a healthy contact garden.
Okay, I'm sold. Now, can we get into some of the more advanced strategies?
Absolutely. But before we do that, there's one more fundamental thing we have to talk about.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What is it? The deeper purpose behind all of this, why we manage contacts in the first place. It goes beyond just organization and efficiency.
Okay, now you've really got me hooked. Tell me more. So you're saying there's more to it than just having a tidy contact list and knowing how to use it.
Exactly. It's about really understanding what contact management is all about. Building connections. Connections that actually lead to something. It's about that give and take, that mutual benefit.
I see. It's not just about what we can get from our contacts, but what we can offer them too.
Precisely. La importancia de la gestión de la lista de contactos en tu empresa really gets at this. They talk about how we need to see each contact as a potential partner.
Not just another name on a list. So how do we do that? How do we move beyond just thinking about transactions and start building those deeper relationships?
Well, one really powerful way is through segmentation,
Segmentation.
dividing your contacts into groups based on what they have in common.
Okay. Like maybe by industry or their interests.
Exactly, even where they are in their customer journey. And then you can tailor how you communicate with each group.
So instead of blasting out the same generic email to everyone.
You're sending targeted messages that actually resonate.
Right. So you're more likely to get a positive response.
It's about showing them that you get them, that you value them as individuals.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. So we've got segmentation, and then there's personalization too, right? I know the Guia Completa went deep on that.
Personalization is key. It's about going beyond just surface level stuff and making a real connection. Taking the time to really learn about each contact.
Their needs, their interests.
Exactly. And then using that knowledge to shape how you interact with them.
Like instead of a generic Happy Holidays email to everyone.
You might send a message mentioning something specific you talked about before.
Or a shared interest. Something to show you remember them.
Exactly. Those little touches make all the difference. It shows you care.
Speaking of building strong connections, we have to talk about Jamal Sattli Iglesias. This guy is a networking legend. His story really shows what's possible when you focus on building genuine relationships.
The Cadena SER article about him is amazing. He's built this incredible network, all because he approaches every interaction with generosity.
And a real desire to create something mutually beneficial.
Precisely. He doesn't just collect business cards. He makes friends. He finds partners. He collaborates.
Okay, so he's clearly doing something right. But some of our listeners might be thinking, well, yeah, that's great for someone like him, but I'm just an admin. How am I going to build a network like that?
It's a fair question, but the truth is, those core principles of networking, they apply to everyone, no matter who you are or what you do.
So what can our listeners learn from his story? What are some key takeaways?
First and foremost, be intentional. Don't just randomly go to networking events or connect with people on LinkedIn just because. Have a plan. Know what you're hoping to achieve.
So it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. A few strong connections are worth way more than 1,000 surface-level contacts.
That's a good point. What else can we take away from his approach?
Be generous. Always look for ways to add value to your connections, maybe offer some advice or make an introduction. Even just being a good listener can go a long way.
It's about showing them you're not just in it for yourself.
Exactly. That kind of authenticity really draws people in. We all want to be around people who are genuine and supportive.
So we've got to be intentional, we've got to be generous. Anything else?
Be patient. Real relationships take time to build. You're not going to become best friends with someone overnight. Just be patient. Nurture that connection and trust the process.
It's like gardening. Some plants take longer to grow than others.
Exactly. But the rewards are worth the wait. Now, before we go any further, with all the different strategies and techniques out there, there's one crucial thing we need to address.
Oh, what's that?
Security.
Ah, yes. With all this talk about collecting data and using technology, we can't forget about protecting that information.
Especially with regulations like GDPR and all that.
Yeah. The Wingu article was really big on that, making sure we understand the rules and follow them.
It's not just about avoiding legal trouble, it's about respect. Respecting your contact's privacy. That builds trust.
Absolutely. So what are some key things our listeners should keep in mind when it comes to security?
Well, first of all, make sure you choose a contact management system that's got strong security features. Things like encryption, two-factor authentication, all that good stuff.
And we need to be careful about what data we're collecting and how we're using it.
Definitely. Be transparent. Let your contacts know what information you're collecting, why you need it, and what you're going to do with it.
And always get their consent before sharing anything with anyone else.
Exactly. Respecting their privacy is essential if you want to build strong, lasting relationships.
So we've covered a lot here. Building genuine relationships, personalization, the incredible story of Jamal Sattli Iglesias, and the importance of data security.
We've really gone deep on the whole idea of contact management. It's not just about keeping things organized, it's about building those meaningful connections.
And now I think it's time to shift gears and talk about the tools we can use to actually put all this into practice.
Let's dive into the world of contact management software.
Okay, so we've covered the why, the how, but now let's talk about the what. As in, what actual tools can help us master this whole business contact thing?
Well, the good news is there are tons of options out there, a whole world of contact management solutions.
We saw a few familiar names in our research, like Google Contacts. ClickCard was saying that's a good place to start, right?
Yeah, Google Contacts is a great basic option, especially if you're just starting out or you're working with a small team.
Simple, easy to use.
Exactly. And it's free. Plus, it works seamlessly with all the other Google stuff.
Calendar, Gmail, all that.
You can store contacts, organize them, add labels. It covers the basics.
But what if you need more than just the basics? The Guia Completed was talking about platforms like Salesforce and HubSpot CRM.
Right. Those are great if you're in a bigger organization or if your needs are more complex. They have a lot more features.
Like what kind of features?
Oh, things like managing your sales pipeline, marketing automation, in-depth analytics.
So serious power user stuff.
Exactly.
And then there's ClickCard. I love what they're doing with those digital business cards.
Yeah, those are really cool. Super sleek, modern way to share your contact info.
And they link right up with their contact management platform.
So you can easily add new connections and keep everything organized.
Okay, so we've got all these choices. How do our listeners know which one is the right fit for them?
You've got to think about your specific needs, your resources, and how comfortable you are with technology.
Like, do you need something simple for personal use? Or a big, powerful platform to manage a whole sales team?
Right. And what's your budget? Are you comfortable learning new software? All those things factor in.